you powerful.
I think, if you want to just touch on the soul for a second, I do think that, the soul's really interested in adventure. It really wants new experiences, right? And it can't go on to the next experience if it's stuck in an emotion from the past. It can't go. It can't go because that emotion's keeping the person anchored to the memories and the stories that go along with it. I would never tell a person to relive their past. I would always tell them to just overcome the emotion, because the memory without the emotional charge is wisdom, and that's what the soul wants. Like, I'm done with that. I'm done. I got the wisdom from it. I got all of eternity. I got a long time to figure this out, so I might as well create the next experience. So I think they all heal kind of simultaneously, one with the next. There's so many wonderful things that are happening right now just with our research. I was on the phone with one of the top researchers in our scientific team, and just every day the data that we're discovering is so important for people to know. I want to give people my greatest understanding of the truth and numerous opportunities to experience it. I want to free their minds and open their hearts with a simple formula that leads them to a door, right? A door of unlimited possibilities. And I want the door to show people that they are greater than they think, more powerful than they know, more unlimited than they could ever dream. And I think by providing people the science and taking it to a point where it's understandable and digestible, changes a consciousness. It changes a collective consciousness. And the testimonials are so important, because those 4-minute miles are opportunities for people to believe in themselves again, because someone else is doing it, right? So an emergent consciousness, emergence in biology, those flocks of birds and schools of fish that are moving and behaving in the same way. There's no leader in that process. It's not a top-down phenomenon. Everybody's leading, right? So the coming of a new consciousness it can't be done with the same consciousness that's created the problems that we have in the world today, and I think no matter what you believe, I think one thing that everybody is aware of, that something doesn't feel right, so providing people with the information, the right information that allows them to believe in themselves and to believe in possibility. The side effect of all of this is some really cool things happening in medical schools, where they want to investigate what we're doing and bring it into medical schools, in operating rooms now, with Navy SEALs, and veterans with trauma. We are working with prisons and
that was amazing. Actually,
a lot of
those
prisons.
Stories.
Yeah, some great prisons, and nobody's talking to these people about why they did what they did and what it really means to change, especially the ones that are going to walk out into the same environment. So we're working with lots of companies and organizations around the world and teaching them what true change means, and the neuroscience of culture, and how you change a culture, what it takes to change a culture, and what it takes to change individuals. So, and then then there's all kinds of fun things. Like I'm so invested in our youth community right now, because they are the seeds of the future. And they're going to have to resolve the problems that were given to them from a greater level of consciousness. And they have to learn the principles of leadership. They have to ingrain that in them and embody it. They have to understand their hormones. They have to understand values. They have to understand how to create from the field instead of from matter, so they can shorten the distance between the thought of what they want and the experience of having it without having to work so hard to get it. And so we're investing a lot of my time and energy into our youth. And every event that we do, we have over 100 kids under the age of 25 that come, and they're very passionate. And I take time. I go and see them after I walk off the stage or at the end of the day, and I talk to them and I say, listen, I don't care if you go to school or you teach yourself. Just get really, really, really good at one thing. Just own it. Just know that you're the best at it. You do that, you'll always be valued. So, so many crazy things, so many wonderful things are happening with where we're at right now. So I'm pretty excited. We had a woman in the event in San Diego who who is the top administrator for a children's hospital in Mexico City, and she had a profound healing
Really?
from her disease, and she's ready, and I'm not going to do it until I have the data that shows that our community 1 out of 2 times can produce a change that's 8, 9, or 10 out of 10 in a person's health. When we're 50%, and we have all the research that we're doing with all the questionnaires and all the epigenetic studies we're doing on the HEALEs and the heart coherence, we're measuring to see if everybody's in a state of coherence when everybody's in the in the cage when they're healing another person. We're looking at the data. So when our data is all sorted out and we're 50%. That's when I'll be very comfortable in walking in there and changing children's lives. Children with cancer and children with tumors and children with all kinds of health conditions. We're seeing crazy stuff happening with this orphanage that we're working with in Mexico right now, with kids born with a lot of health conditions and tremendous reversal in their bodies. So it's pretty cool. And so you have 5 identical twins and 1 set of fraternal twins, and we're actually looking to see how much gene expression can change when you change your emotional state in with identical twins that share pretty much the same genome. But then we started doing these cool experiments where we were separating them, and one was having a meditation, the other one was watching the History Channel, in this room. Or her room, just to see. And when this person had a profound experience, what kind of brain changes were they in training their partner to? So I do think that the more we are emotionally connected to people, the more suggestible we are to each other, right? Because I think we accept, believe, and surrender information that's equal to our emotional state, right? So maybe the sympathy or your connection to people in your life, the information goes in that it actually creates this kind of collective consciousness, that everybody starts to experience the same thing. But it could be like the 100th monkey. It could be in a really profound way where you start changing your energy and you start changing your emotions, and then you start moving to a greater frequency, and you break that pattern, and now all of a sudden everybody starts in training to a greater level.
Yes.
And that's what we're after, right? So I just think that's just a level of unconsciousness, because when we share the same emotions, we share the same memories, we can relate with one another. When we share the same energy, we share the same information. So we're prone or susceptible to that information. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think we have to really be very clear that that's something that I'm definitely not going to experience. If it slips past your analytical mind and you take it on and you feel it with that person, I mean, that's powerful voodoo. That's powerful medicine. More powerful medicine.